Hello everyone. Let's start with the day 9 of learning data science. And today we're gonna discuss about the list actions and all the proceedings which was left out yesterday. So till now, what we have done, we have discussed about the history of Python. We have discussed about the variables in Python. What are the various precautions we should take? What are the various features related to Python or related to declaring a variable in Python? What are the various data types? And also we included the numeric data type, which is int, float, complex, boolean. We have also discussed all those. And again, apart from variables, we discussed about the operators. What are the different type of operators? Then we moved on to strings. We discussed about the strings. And yesterday, what we did, we discussed about the lists. We discussed certain things, and certain things have been left out. So, yes, today we will start with those. So, as usual, which I tell you guys to open the mind map for that. It's like basically, if you want to know what is a mind map, so basically, mind map is a pictorial representation of our data. Or basically, if there are 1,000 rows, there are 10,000 lines of uh, sentences in a Word file. So when you're doing text manual, it means like you basically can't understand it, how you can be able to read those data, right? You can't be able to just view those data and you can get insights. Basically, you don't know what are the various items, what are the various things inside that Excel file or inside that Word file, right? So for that, what you need, certainly you need a flow chart, you need a mind map for that. Because what does a flow chart does, what does a mind map does, it's that it will display all the things in a crisp manner. It's as you can see in your screen. And again, how to open the mind maps is just as simple as typing Python mind map on your Google Chrome, and this particular screen will be open. I have discussed all those in my previous videos, so you can go and watch those videos as well. So now let's move on to the data types in Python, which we were discussing about, and we were discussing about the list operations, and we have also discussed about what are the various features of list. That anything under square bracket is called list. List is a mutable data type. We can transfer through the string using index and slicing. Uh, List can contain duplicates. List can contain many data types inside it. It doesn't matter whether the data type is int, float, string, or anything. List can contain all of them in a single list. So basically, uh, and the most important thing is that list is a ordered of sequence, means like it is ordered, it is a sequential data type. When we were discussing about int, float, Boolean, complex, these comes under the category of numerical data type. But when we are discussing about strings, list, tuples, these are under sequential data types. Again, what is sequential data types? Means like it follows a sequence. Basically, the elements inside a list, it follows a sequence. Something which is at its number one position will remain at number one position unless we change it. Okay. So this is the meaning of sequential data types, why it is called sequential and why it is ordered, why list is ordered, right? So I've also told you guys to follow spider ID, again, where you can get that spider. Particularly, you can open Anaconda Navigator, and in Anaconda Navigator there is you can say the spider ID. There's various IDs, and pertaining to that, I suggest spider because it's very beginner friendly, and yes, it will help you guys because there are various options relating to it. I've also already shown it, so that for example, if you want to see what basically this extend function does, so you have to just run simply. Control plus I, you have to press this, right? So you can see, uh, so you can see that definition of extend, you can write here the iterable, whatever values we want to add into the list. Again, we can add any data type using extend and append. And yesterday also we discussed about what is the difference between append and extend. Basically, how does it works? So now let's again recall all those things which we discussed here yesterday. Is now let me run this particular line of code. Then you will see it that this particular thing is being appended into a list. For example, if you want to open a new file here, okay, in Spider, if you want to open a new file, you can just click on a new file, and these all things got a new file is being created successfully, right? So I will just explain you guys what is the difference between append and extend. So for example, here in A, we are writing 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. Okay. Basically, we have discussed this list and let me execute it. And in B, what I will do, I will just write 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I will just write this line of code here. And for example, if I am printing this a line of statement, print A dot append B, right? And in the very next statement, if I will use this A dot extend B, right? So let's see what all values we can get it. Okay, so if I will execute this line of code, I am executed this as well. I don't know why it's not printing here. This one, so if I will print A again, then we execute it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's working here. I will put this line of code. Um, now I'm printing this. So you can see whenever we are appending something in list, so what it happens, it considers as a separate identity. For example, I have told you guys in Python or any programming language, what are the very first element is being denoted. How does the number starts from when we are denoting certain elements in a list or a string. So the very first element, one here, it's denoted by 0. And similarly, 1, 2, 3, so like this. So for example, if I wanna write here A of 4, so what do you think? What value should I get here? You can see the output is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So it is considering this particular list as a single identity whenever we are using append function. So make sure that what the difference between append and extend whenever you are using append, uh, the something which we are adding into that list, it will considered as a single identity, right? And for the very next example, which is extend, obviously, and when we are using extend, so now let's try with that as well. So I will execute the code, and for every function which we use in Python or in a string or list, the very simple syntax pertaining to that is, right, you have to write the list name with a dot, and then you can write the function name. So I have used the same thing. I have written a here, a dot extend. Extend is a function, and what I wanna extend is, right, I wanna write it here b. Okay, and now let me execute this line of code again. So if I will execute it, and again if I will execute this, then if I will execute this, you can see the value is 4, right? Previously, you can see here that when we were executing a of 4, right? When we were executing a of 4, we were getting all these values as a single identity list. But whenever we are using a of 4 here, we are getting uh, 4 as a different identity. Let me print this statement. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every elements inside the list, it's considering as a different element, not a single element, right? So whenever we are using append or extend, just make sure that okay, these are the certain. Uh, this is the key difference related to that, right? So yeah, I hope you guys got a clarity about what is the difference between append and extend. What does append function does? What does append function does? Right? And now we will move on to the next function. The next function again here is like when we want to insert any value at a particular index location. So for that, what is the code there, right? How we will write it, how we will insert certain things inside it, right? So for example, if I wanna insert a value of, you can say 10 here, right? I wanna insert value of 10 in list A, okay? And if, for example, I am executing this line of code, so what will be the syntax for that? I just want you to comment down on the comment section. What will be the syntax for that pertaining whenever you are using any functions? So obviously it's the simple thing. We have to use the list name a dot and the function name here. So the function name here we will be using is the insert, and again here what we have to insert, we have to insert this value 10, and where we have to insert, we it depends upon the user on what type of index you want to insert it. Right here you can see this index which is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So if we wanna if we wanna insert the value at 3, right, at for example 3 position, so not 3, let's change it to 1, right, because 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So let's insert it at 3, sorry, my bad, 1 position. So what I will do, I will simply write here the index name here, and I will just let me store the value here as is equal to 10. Okay. And I will write the variable name here in which that particular value contains. Right. So if I will execute this line of code, we can see a dot insert what comma s is been successfully executed. And if I will print this statement, so you can see 1 and 10 is being inserted here, and everything will be shifted right accordingly. It doesn't matter where you are adding it, the preceding elements inside that particular list will be automatically shifted towards the right. Okay. uh, for example, say if we wanna now add as let's take the value of 34, And if you want to add 34, for example, say at index position 3. So what is the current index position of 3? Like you can see here, it is 0, it is 1, it is 2, it is 3. In 3 index position, the value is 3. So if I will add 34 here, so 34 will be added here and 3 and 45 will be shifted towards right. So now let's execute this line of code. If I will execute this and if we like execute this again, and if I will printing this line statement, so you can see here previously at index position 3, 3 was there. But right now at index position 334 have been successfully inserted, right? So like this, we can insert any value in between of any list. Okay. If you want to add a value at the last, so you can use either extend or append function, right? And I've also told you guys what the difference between append and extend. If you want to insert any value in between the list, in the middle of the list, you can use the function insert here. Now it comes the very interesting part. What interesting part is here is like if you want to remove any element from the list, right? If you want to remove any element from the list, so basically there are two functions pertaining to that, right? So what is the very first function? Like if I want to remove a, then what I will write? I will write a, the list name, the basic syntax, a dot remove. Sorry, my bad. I have written comma here. A dot remove. And if I want to write any value here, right? For example, now, as if for now, let's take 34 as a string here. I have told you guys anything written under quotes is a string. It will not consider s as a 34, right? And if I will execute this line of code, and if I will not print a, so you can see similarly, this particularly 34 string is being added here, right? And if we want to remove this particular string. So what we will do, we will write this particular value here, right? We will write string 34 and we want to remove this value. So if I will execute this line of code, then you can see this line of code is being successfully executed. And when I will use the print statement here, you can see previously the 34, the string was there. Now it's being successfully removed. So whenever we are writing any we want to remove any element from the list, so we can use the remove functions. We can use remove function here. So this was the first function pertaining to how we can remove the elements from the list. What is the second thing? Second thing again here is the second function, which is a dot pop here. Okay, a dot pop. And just be focused here. Don't just lie on your sofa and watch this video. Don't just lie on your bed and watch this video. I want you guys to make the running notes because you might forget afterwards. Means like I myself can't remember what I have eaten a week ago, what type of what vegetables I've eaten it. Okay, how many rice I have eaten it, how many chapatis was there, how many idli were there. I don't know, right? So similarly, no one will be able to, you yourself will not be able to recall what you have eaten 3 weeks ago on this particular date and this particular time, right? So for that reason, you need to maintain the running notes here. Okay. So whenever we want to remove anything, we will use the remove function and we can use the pop function as well. And by default, whenever you are using any pop function, so what it does, pop function by default removes the element from the last. Okay. Now you can see what is the last element here. The last element is 45. So if I will execute this line of code and when I will print it, you can see that 45 has been successfully removed. Okay. So now there is a question that you guys will ask that if we want to remove any particular element which is inside the list, how we can perform it using a pop function. So here is the answer for you guys, that whenever you want to remove any particular element using pop function, then always you have to use the index value here. We can't write the elements directly, just like here. For example, if I want to remove here, for example, uh, in this value 34 is there, right? If I want to remove 34, so let's check. Is it removing? It will show an error, which is index out of range. Index out of range. That doesn't, that means that this particular pop function, it takes the index value only. Only the integer value is there, right? For example, if you can't understand why only integer value, so now let's execute this line of code. Let me insert it and now let me print it. So you can see 34 is being added here and 34 is a string, right? Similarly, if I want to remove this particular 34 string here, so you can see here undetermined string literal. Undetermined string literal means every time this pop function, what it does, see, it only takes the integer value. It will not take any str or any list or any values, right? Here I have showed you when we were taking value, it was showing index out of range. Why? Because it's starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 34. Obviously, it's out of range. Okay, so for that reason, it was index out of range. And when, and for example, if I've told you that whenever we are using any values, so here also you can get an error. So what's the conclusion over it? What's the conclusion you can draw pertaining to this is that pop function only takes integer value. It takes only integer value, right? For example, in pop, like for example, if I want to print a here, so you can see that the value is in here. And now you will say that, what if I will write one here? Because one is there inside the list, right? Is it at the very first value? What it will happen if I'll write one here? So now let's try it. See, you can see the first element 0, 1, not this element got popped out. The first element got popped out. So what does it convey to you guys? That pop function always takes integer value and it always takes index value. It will not take the values which is present inside the string. You can't delete that particular element using that element name. Okay. Whenever you writing any integer also here, either it will remove the integer from that particular index position, or you can see here above when I had tried to remove 34, the list wasn't going till 34. For that reason, it was giving index out of range. And here one was already present here, but again it will not remove the value because I have already told you it always takes the index. So I hope you guys have understood what's the difference between remove and pop and how we can remove the values from any list. Okay, so there are always two functions related to that. The, okay, uh, one is remove and the second is insert, right? So these are the two methods through which we can remove the values from the list, right? So now let's move on to the, sorry, the next function, which is how we can reverse the list. Okay, so for that as well, there is a function pertaining to that called reverse. Okay, so whenever we want to reverse the list. So it's the simple query which I have told you guys that you have to just write the list name here, and I will writing the list name here as A, and again the function name here, the function name is reverse, and if I am using reverse here, and then I will be writing the print statement. So let's execute this line of code, and after executing this, let's see what happens. So I have used this line of code and it's been successfully compiled, and you can see here that the 3 was at last and it got in front. Similarly, 34 was at second last, is in second. Similarly, the list got flipped, it got reversed. Okay, so we can use the reverse function as well. And obviously, you guys can use the slicing as well. I have told you guys, and how you can use the slicing is that if you want to reverse the list, for example, right now, A, what is contained inside a A? You can see the first index is from 3, 34, 34 to 1. Okay. If I want to reverse this A, so what I will do, I will write here A, and again I will write here the brackets, because in brackets we write the index number, we use slicing, and again that I will I will start from the very start. I have not written here any value, because by default, if I will not write anything, it will start from its initial index number. And in the end also, haven't written here any value. So obviously it will go till end. But again, in the step, what I will do in step, I will use minus one. Minus one means it will go from decreasing order. That means minus one, from right to left. So if I use minus one, and if I will execute this line of code, then you can see it. Sorry, my bad, it's positive one. If I use minus, oh, there is some issues inside my keyboard. The minus thing is okay. It's got printed, you know. And when I will execute it, you can see that the list is got reversed. So when you want to reverse the list, either you can use the reverse function or you can use the slicing for that, right? So there are two ways where you can reverse the list, right? Now what? Now the next thing which comes is if we have to sort the list, okay? So if I guys, if I want, if I ask you that, okay, what's the meaning of sort? I'm not asking in any Python term, or I'm not asking pertaining to any coding language, just a simple English language here. What do you mean by sort? I want you guys to comment it on the comment section. What do you mean sort here, right? So just take 1 minute time. You can comment it. Obviously, sort. What does this sort mean? Sort means whenever we have to rearrange anything, either rearrange anything in a systematic way, in a ordered way. Okay. For example, if we want to arrange the items, arrange the elements either in an ascending order or in a descending order. Okay, because right now you can see it that this particular list is in an order, but it is not sorted. Means like you can see one here, then you can see 34 here, then you can see 3 here, right? So obviously this 3 should come here, this 34. If you are sorting in ascending order, if you are sorting in descending order, then this 34 should come at the very first place, right? So what we use for that, how we do certain things, how we sort the list. So for that, the very simple example is here, and the very simple syntax which I always tell you guys, that use the list name which is A, again A dot, and the function name is sort. Sort. and we are sorting it. And now if I will print A here, so you can see if I execute this line of code, you can see it's not supported because str is present with int. Okay, so you have to make sure that the data types is same inside the string. If it's not same, it will not get sorted. Obviously it will not get sorted because how you can differentiate between normal 34 and the string 34, right? There is no certain way pertaining to that, right? So let me execute this line of code again. And if I execute it, if I execute this line of code, if I use extend function as well. So, and if I want to print A, so you can see these are the certain elements which is inside the list. Now I want to sort it, right? And I'm using the function sort here. And after sort, the list has been sorted here. You can see on your screen that on this particular first line of code, the elements was in an unarranged way, right? But here you can see that in the line number 53, here the output number 53, the list has been successfully sorted. You can see the 45, which was in the middle somewhere, it's being at last, and similarly, the list has been sorted. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood it, right? If you want to sort it in an ascending order, we have to use the sort function here. Now, one uh, question comes here that if you want to sort in an descending order, then what should we do? How should we do this, right? So there is the same function here. What we will do, you will write here a dot sort, but inside sort we will write reverse. Reverse is equal to true. Reverse is equal to true means we want to reverse this particular list A, and it's true that yes, we want to reverse it. It is true. We are not saying just for the sake of saying that if you want to reverse. No, we are passing an argument true here that yes, it is. We have to do it. So if I execute this line of code and if I will print A again here, so you can see that list has been sorted in a descending order. Okay. If we will use false here, false means we have to reverse, but no, we don't have to reverse. We have changed our mind here. So it will again do the sorting in an ascending order. If I will print it, so you can see it again sorted in ascending order. So why to use these things? The reverse is equal to false. If we are getting the ascending orders in a dot sort itself, right? So whenever we want to sort in an descending order, every time make sure to use the sort function, and within that sort function make sure to use reverse is equal to true. Whenever you are using it, the list is getting reversed in certain, right? So I hope you guys have understood it, how we can use the reverse function and how we can display certain things. Okay, now the next thing is that inside the list we can perform arithmetic operations as well. Okay, so what are those arithmetic operations? I have told you guys that arithmetic operations means multiplication, addition. So these all things are there. So how to perform those inside a list? Okay. So now let's take again this to list here. Let me paste it here right down. Okay. And if I will execute this line of code, and I will execute this line of code again. And if I want to print it, print a plus b, a plus b, and if I execute this line of code, then you can see here A plus B means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's being get added here. Now let's perform the arithmetic operations. Now let's execute this line of code. You can see can't multiply sequence by non-in type list. Okay, we can't multiply the two list. We can use numbers here instead of using list. Okay, if you will use 2 here, so you can see that A into 2 here means the values inside the list got printed two times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first and this is the second. Two times it got printed here. If I will use 3 here, so the values will be getting printed 3 times. So like this. So these two arithmetic operations we can perform pertaining to strings, pertaining to list here. And again, while adding, don't add any integer value. Why? Because it will give you a type error. Obviously, you can't add oil with water, right? Oil, for example, oil is a list. It's a different data type. Oil is a list, and it in this bottle, it's water. If I will pour oil into it, we can't add it. Okay, that mixture, it will be getting differentiated. Why? Because oil will be floating above it, right? So similarly, this uh, integer is a different data type, and list is a different data type. So for that reason, if you want to add it, add only the list with list. When we are using a plus symbol there, when we are using arithmetic symbol plus. Okay. Similarly, let's try with a minus b. And what does a minus b gives? It will not do minus. We can use plus and multiply. These two arithmetic operations only we can call it, right? We can't do division as well, right? So I hope you guys have understood what are the arithmetic operations we are using. Now, what we will do tomorrow is like, and yes, on the very thing which I've told you guys that in the earlier videos as well, that if you want to check how many functions are there in list, so that's for example use dir and dir list. If I execute this line of code, then you will see various functions are there inside the list. We have used in sort, we have used in reverse, we used remove, we used pop, we used insert, we use extend, we use count. Okay. So now let's see the count, how we can use the count here. Count means if we want to check the occurrence of any values inside that list, right? For example, here I'm doing a is equal to a into 3, right? Now let's check it. A into 3, and if I print a here, so you can see the values is getting printed, it's stored in the list. For example, if I want to count here, so what I will do, I will simply write the list name a, then dot, then the count function, the function name. And if I want to count 1, okay, and if I execute it, you can see the count of 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Similarly, you can use a string here as well. For example, if I'm using any string here, that I'm using str, then again I'm using an str here, and again I'm using str. So if I will execute this line of code, and after executing it, you can see, oh, sorry, my bad. And if I want to count this particular substring inside the string, I'm using str, so you can see the value will be 3. It will count. So you can see it whenever you are using dir of list, it gives you various functions pertaining to that. Okay, various functions. So you can take each function, you can practice over it, you can perform the function. And yes, if you want to take a look upon what this particular function does, so for that, what you need it, you need to type help and then list. When I will use this line of code, you can see that the various functions it given here. What do you mean by class list? It's not even easy. Basically, you can read this what this particular thing tells. Everything you can get it. Extend means what this extend means, what the index means, what is the values, present means what the reverse is equal to false means. So everything pertaining to that. You can use this way by dir of list and by the help of list. You can be able to find the functions related to string list and what are the details in detail of those functions. So here we have completed the list part and tomorrow we will start with the tuples. Okay. So till then you have to keep practicing it because I always say that practice at least 100 lines of code. It's minimum 100 lines of code for you guys to practice it every day because programming coding is something like a swimming. You have to swim it every day. You have to master it. If you fail to do on a single particular day, then obviously you will forget. Okay. So keep practicing it. I'm telling to practice it 100. It's minimum. But you will ask me as a genuine question, how many lines of code we have to do it every day. So certainly the value will be 500 till 1000 lines of code. You have to practice it every day so that you can learn Python in a month. In a month, you can learn Python. It's totally up to you. If you want to learn within an year, then keep practicing 10 lines of code every day. But if you want to learn Python in 1 month, keep practicing 500 to 1000 of lines every. Surely you will get that. Trust the process. Don't go with the results. So see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. And till then, bye bye. Good night. Take care and yes, Jai Hind.